Hello guys, my name is Julia and welcome to my channel. Here I speak about astrology, inner power, feminine, masculine and the balance between all of this energy. And today we are going to speak about the karma of the sun in the third house. What does it mean, karma? Karma in Sanskrit means that we invested our energy into something in the past lives. We put seeds. When we do something, so we invest our energy into the soil, we put seeds, and then with time it grows. So what we see in our chart is already the accumulation of different karmas we were doing in different things, in different ways and levels and energies in the past lives. And now we have our chart and we can see and analyze our energies through what we have there. And so sun, this is a self-expression, this is our inner power, this is our mature masculine energy, and this is the way we shine to the world, the way we can take care about the world. This is how we can express our soul, because this is like the awareness of our own individuality. This is our light and this is how we express it. And so when we see sun in the third house, what we know about the third house? So one of the important things, this is connected to courage, and this is our own willpower. So we are always courageous about the things which are connected to the sign in the third house and to the planets which are in the third house. So it can be actually a little bit overly courageous, because sun is fire, it's masculine energy which is connected to our inner strength, because Mars is connected to our physical power. So it's more like about physically strong. But sun is about being individual self, being strong about who we are. And by sitting in the third house, it can show that the person is not afraid to express self kind of strongly, and it can be even in a kind of dominant way, because person is not feeling exactly the edge of where this self-expression and courage in being self can go. For example, we know that third house is connected to our siblings, to our neighbors. It can give some ego issues with these people, because we see in ourselves kind of more important. So it's like why we have ego battles with our siblings, because for some reason we think that we have to be the favorite child or something like that. So it's about being strong and going a little bit too far in that. And also third house is connected to communication. So person can have issues with siblings and neighbors exactly connected to communication, because person through communication can be very dominant. It can come even to abusive positions. So, and person can be not aware that they're actually doing like this. And that's why, so the form of communication can lead to complicated relationships with siblings and neighbors. The person understands his strengths and his power, like the way he or she can express self. This is through communication. If the sun is strong, and if the sun is a ruler of some, for example, complicated houses, or maybe with Rahu, or aspected by Saturn, or, you know, some complexity about the sun, so person can have the ego issues with these people, because person needs to learn how to communicate in a respectful form, because from the past lives, person brings this ability to express self through maybe a sharp tongue. And so person can go in expressing self in some way and can like want to dominate, because this is their form of communicating with the world. And the point is that we always communicate with the world the way we communicate with self. So what we remember is that sun is always illuminates the house where it sits. And so some topics about siblings, and they will be, so it's like Siblings, neighbors, like people connected to the house, this is kind of living factors. And with that, malefic planets, because Sun is actually a malefic planet, it's considered like something that can give kind of too much of fire, because when we shine, it's not easy to control it. Sometimes we can outshine someone, or we can lose confidence. I mean, this turbulence in sunlight can happen. So in living aspects, it can be some issues, because person is learning how to communicate with respect, how to communicate within self, how to communicate with own emotions, because also third house is a 12th house from the fourth house is our inner space. It's a place where moon lives. It's like our emotional world. And and Sun in the 12th from it, it means the person is not really in connection to the inner processes. So the person is navigating life, feeding ego, instead of listening how it actually feels when you're behaving like this to someone else. And so it can have some abusive tendency. And actually, third house is one of those upachaya houses where malefic planets with time give better results. So person can have problematic period, for example, till the midlife, and the second part of the life can be easier, because person already has many experience, learns something, starts to realize what is psychology, what is empathy, starts to understand that you have consequences by the way you express your fire, because not everyone around are ready to such form of expressing your fire. And maybe person starts to put this fire into doing something with hands or writing something. So person kind of learns to give the direction of this sunlight. So it will give much better results in the living factors of this house. Because, for example, when you grow up and you don't really live with your parents anymore, and you, for example, become more successful than your siblings, you don't even care anymore about this competition with them. But in the childhood, it's like you live with these people. You all the time, maybe parents can compare like their skills to your skills. So that hurts. Or for example, your father could be having another woman on the side, and so you found out that those women has another children, and so your father give you attention and them not in equal way, and the fact that they exist also hurts. So it's like hurts the ego in that age. But when you become a grown up, when you have your own kids, when you realize that life can be different and difficult for parents, so who knows what happens, that they decided to separate and have another family, so you have more understanding. It's like the sun becomes more healthy and balanced with time, so if you give it a direction. So for living significations, it's not really a good position, but for the position connected to being strong self and expressing yourself in different ways, that's actually a strong position. And with time, it's gonna be given like a good fruits. Especially it's important to see which house the sun owns, because those house will also be influenced, and from there you can see the direction of what kind of self-expression you want to show. And so such placement actually shows that person from the past lives carrying the need to express self through the third house activities, and which exactly you can see through the sign. So sign gives some kind of flavor. For example, if we talk about third house, let's say Aquarius, so person understands shining through the world, like understands self, understands their own identity and individuality through communicating with other people, with friends and groups of with society. Or if we see Capricorn there, so it's like expression self and understanding self through career field. For example, Aries there can show the flavors of like physical body and own persona. So we know that third house is connected to hands. So person can for sure have some interesting abilities in hands. So person can actually even be like a healer, or it can be someone who doing something like with the wood or anything what we do with our hands. Another thing what we know about the third house, this is writing, reading, and this is about journalism. So person can shine through doing different things connected to writing. So it can be work with social media, it can be work connected to newspapers, or writing articles, any kind of copywriting also as well. A person can work with this in a government, because sun is connected to governmental positions, so person can write something for them. And also person can write a book, and for example to express self through some knowledge. For example, it can be sun in Sagittarius in the third house, so Sagittarius is about teaching. So person writes a book, so it shines to the world through writing a book about guiding and teaching about something. And when we have third house sun, it always has an aspect on the ninth house. So this connection to short and long distance travels also involved. So person is interested in knowledge, expanding horizons and deepening the belief system, what we know about ninth house. So the person has kind of the courage to travel and to explore the world and to maybe shine even abroad, because it can be, the person who has, for example, dancing a group of people, and they go in different countries like a tour to perform. And so you have the way you shine, so you shine through small and short distance traveled, and this is how you kind of explore new horizons. So you are exploring the world. And the quality of the sun we can also see by so it's like we have the father and we have relationship with the father. So the way father relate to us, the way we relate, like the way we connect, the way we see each other, love each other, don't love each other. So this is the way we understand our sun energy. This is how we connect to it. This is how we connect to our self-respect, how we understand our importance, how we understand self. And the health and the condition with father, and the father's kind of habitual behaviors and the specifics of his character, those are actually explaining what type of sun you have. So it's like the quality of your sun. So let's say your father has issues with alcohol. It means your sun energy has the tendency to indulge in this being strong or egoistic, or kind of you need this feeling of being in a dominance over someone, so you would enjoy self. So it's unhealthy dynamics, but the same unhealthy when father is doing that. So for example, if father is a strong figure, respected figure, it means you have strong and healthy sun energy. Of course, if your father is, for example, arrogant human, do not respect anyone, cheat people, behave badly with you, it means your sun energy can be strong, but really, really afflicted. So it needs healing in this incarnation. And third house sun can actually have this tendency of kind of needs healing type of sun, because sun sits in the third house. This is a natural house of Gemini, and Gemini energy is connected to Mercury. Mercury is not really friend to sun. These two groups. Sun is a friend of Moon, Jupiter and Mars, and this group is not really a friend of Saturn, Venus and Mercury. Those three are kind of more getting along. And so it's very important to see, of course, the sign which sun sits, and the dispositor, which the lord of this sign where sun sits and where dispositor goes. It also will give you some clarity about the quality of your sun energy. But anyways, it's great for communicating, expressing yourself to the world, and also through social media. Just know it, because maybe when you will do it like more, you become like influencer in some way, or be like having your own style in something, doing something your own way. So be courageous. So like express self through that, so it will give you the feeling of kind of understanding self, so you will not need to hurt others to validate your own importance or your own strengths to self through the competing or hurting others. Okay, so this is it, and here's my link for the website. If you want a personal consultation, we can talk about specifically your stuff. And take care about your sun. Do yoga. Sun salutation is great for sun. And see you in the next videos. Bye bye.